Live from Veteran Stadium, Channel 6 presents the 38th Annual Philadelphia High School Championship. Frankford, the public school champion, meets the Catholic school champion, Father Judge High School, in this historic series that began in 1938. Today's game is brought to you in part by your Chrysler Plymouth dealer, now featuring the success car of the year, Cordova, the new small Chrysler. And by PSFS, the Savers Bank. PSFS pays more on savings than ordinary banks. Here now is WPVI-TV's sports director, Joe Pellegrino, and Don Tollefson.
And hello, Delaware Valley, and welcome to the 38th Annual City High School Championship football game between Father Judge, the Catholic champion, and Frankford, the Public League champion. With me, Don Tollefson, to do some of the analysis for today's game, and it really stacks up as not only a great game between two teams, but also a tremendous and intensive neighborhood rivalry. And Don, it seems to me that both clubs are very well fitted, not only offensively, but defensively.
Well, right you are, Joe. Father Judge comes into this game as anything from a 7 to 10 point favorite, but the real key today is going to be George Benson, running back for Frankfurt, number 20. He has power and speed. He comes in at 210 pounds. He can run the 40 in 4.9. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards this year. If Frankfurt is going to win, they'll have to either get a great game from George Benson, or they'll have to force Father Judge to key on him so much that it opens up the rest of the people in their offense. So,
yet we have talked to both coaches, and obviously in a game like this that means so much, they are both going to employ some new wrinkles. Well, we're going to go down to the field now for the introduction of the dignitaries on the field, and there is Jim Murray, the general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles, at the microphone.
On behalf of Leonard Toes, the Philadelphia Eagles Football Club, to which both teams, who are both winners despite the results of today's game, we envy you. You are doing what we're trying to do, bring a championship game to Veteran Stadium. Both teams, good luck on behalf of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Thank you very much, Mr. David Murray. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the toss of the ball by the official, our referee for this afternoon's battle, Thomas Elliott.
Okay, back upstairs, Joe Pellegrino along with Don Tollefson. There are the captains down there deciding on the toss of the coin and so forth, and I think the toss was just made.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it was, well, it looks like Father Judge has won the toss, and Father Judge elects to receive. Father Judge is in the blue jerseys with the white trousers, and Frankfurt will defend the goal to our right as we look at the field. And the captains for Frankfurt, number 20, George Benson, number 18, Cliff Hutchins, number 53, Bernie Laster, and number 46, Mike DeCipio. We'll be back with a kickoff in just a moment.
I know my own needs, and what I need from an automobile, I know I get from this new Cordova. For me, there is nothing beyond Cordova's tasteful appearance. Nothing beyond the luxury of seats available in rich crushed velour.
Come in today and test drive the success car of the year, Cordova, at your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Super Hits of the Superstars, a great new double album from K-Tel. Original hits, original stars, Bachman, Turner, Overdrive. Gladys Knight and the Pips. Superstar Elton John. Baby Snow. Blackbird. Barry Manilow. Van McCoy. Hot Chocolate. Steelers Wheel. Billy Preston. Golden Earring. Reunion and Paper Lace. The Night Chicago Dive. Hughes Corporation. Sugarloaf. Get Super Hits of the Superstars, a great 2-record set. Sullivan. $7.99 from Kate.
All right, the opening kickoff has just taken place. Jeff Clark booted the ball to Pete Chelinski and returned the ball on up to the 36-yard line. 1st and 10 at that point for Father Judge. Don?
Father Judge gets great field position right off the bat. Coach Angelo, Frankford, does not want to get behind early. He has a methodical offense. It's not a catch-up football team. He wants to stop Father Judge on their first offensive series. Joe?
All right, there's the handoff, and a good running back, Jim DiGiovanni, their leading rusher, who although has missed 5 games due to injury, and he picks up a couple of yards, moves the ball up to about the 41-yard line before Mike DeCipio, the free safety, makes the stop.
DiGiovanni had an ankle injury, missed about 5 of Father Judge's games this year. George Benson, star running back for Frankfurt, he has a toe injury today. That may slow him up a little bit.
Tom Kearns here to the near side. There's the quarterback with the flip, and it is dropped by Kearns as Mike McKay's first pass of the day falls incomplete. Number 18 was over there. That was Cliff Hutchins, a senior, 5'11" and 152, who is going to be going to West Point this summer, following the footsteps of his father's Army career.
Joe, Mike McKay, a fascinating story. He did not play football at Father Judge before this year. Last year, he played on a boys club 135-pound team. Was a walk-on this year, has done extremely well.
Running back, he tries the other side, Petey Chelinski, 5'9", 150, one of their fastest runners, but he is dropped quickly in there by the defensive end. I think it was Fran Lepowski, also Bill Jones, Bernie Laster. Watch number 53, Laster, for Frankfurt. He is one super player, and they expect big things from him today, both offensively and defensively.
Father Judge has a definite edge in the kicking game today. John McCarthy is a bona fide college prospect. He kicked a 32-yard field goal earlier this year, is also a fine punter.
Mike DeCipio, the lone safety, will take it on his own 27. He finds a little bit of room before being horse-collared down there at about the 33-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 as Tom Kilkenny made the stop for Father Judge, and Frankfurt will take over for its first offensive series here in the first period. No score, 10:43 to go.
Joe, I talked to Al Angelo at length before the game. He says his team today will line up often in a full house backfield. The old Chicago Bears 1940 dead T offense with 3 backs behind the quarterback. That's what they're in right now.
And of course, that's a big surprise. The man in motion, there's the handoff. And a man picking up a little yardage is Dave Karpinski. Dan Oldfield was going in motion. Of course, Big George Benson is the man that Father Judge will be keying on. Paul Kling, the right tackle, and also Bob Maley, the left safety, made the stop for Judge. So it'll be 2nd down, about 5 yards to go.
Whitey Sullivan told me that he was telling his players all week, don't think Benson too much because those other running backs, Karpinski and Oldfield, are also fine athletes.
Oldfield in motion again, and this is Benson, but he is racked up quickly by number 65, Steve Dano, who made a super stop even before he got up to the line of scrimmage. So it'll now be 3rd down and a long 5 yards to go. The ball resting on about the 38-yard line as number 48 checks in now for Frankfurt, and that would be Ed Cornell, the right end. And, of course, the great neighborhood rivalry that we've got with these 2 fine schools and 2 fine football teams. I'm sure you're seeing plenty of the emotion right here on the field now. And, again, Oldfield comes in motion. Quarterback follow with a pass in and out of the hands of the intended receiver there on the sidelines, and will pick up the number. It's number 38, Karpinski, the fullback, the junior, 5'10", only 138. Matt Kalp was out there with him, the all-Catholic and all-area selection, number 66, and you'll hear plenty of him as far as tackling is concerned today.
Al Angelo admits that Garofalo is not a great passer. He doesn't throw the ball all that well. His forte is running a misdirection offense. He has great timing, knows when to get rid of the ball on those handoffs exactly. Father Judge getting ready to receive Frankfurt's punt.
All right, that's Clark in punt formation. You've got Lafferty and Chelinski, and the kick is going to be short, and it takes a Judge bounce, and Frankfurt is going to down it in the vicinity of the 41-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 as Coach Whitey Sullivan's Father Judge club takes over again offensively against Al Angelo's Frankfurt team.
21-yard punt for Jeffrey Clark. He's playing defensive back for Frankfurt. At the beginning of the season, he split time at quarterback with Garofalo, now exclusively on defense. Joe?
Petey Shalinsky now splits out here to the right side, out of the I formation. The running back finds a little room, the second back through, and that was Jim DiGiovanni. He was stopped by Bernie Laster, and those two, I'm sure, are going to meet a lot this afternoon. Laster, number 53, in the red jersey, the gold helmet. He plays defensive left end. He's a senior, 5'11", 195, and has nothing but great credentials.
Joe, you notice that both teams are shuttling guards with plays from the bench. Whitey, Sullivan,
quarterback McKay is dropped. The big right end, and many people said you better watch out for this Frankford defense because they may be small, but believe me, they hit as tough as any defense in the entire Delaware Valley. There was an example of it. The ball is dropped all the way back to the 37-yard line, so it'll be third down on about 13 for Father Judge.
On that play, McKay delayed a little bit with a fake handoff and then did not drop back far enough. Quick penetration from Frankford cost him a couple of yards.
All right, we've got the double slot now, Pomponio there. And there is the pass over the middle, and it is complete for a short yardage gain up to about the 45-yard line to the right end. That's Charlie Hoyt, as he is dropped over there, I believe, by McCallick, and also Herb Smith, the left tackle, was there on the play as well. So it's going to be fourth down and about 6.5 yards to go. The ball resting on the 44-yard line, and again, it is John McCarthy back in punt formation. The lone safety, Mike DeCipio. Kind of a high snap, but no problem. Pretty good spiraling kick. DeCipio is now waving for the fair catch, and he'll take it on the 25-yard line, and Frankford will take over there. So the clubs have played errorless ball so far as we reach 7 minutes, 41 seconds to go in the first period, and Frankford will take over for its second offensive series.
John McCarthy, the kicker for Father Judge, we just saw there, is an example of the specialization, which is moving down into the high school ranks. He does nothing but kick for Father Judge. There used to be a lot of people in high school ball who went both ways. Today there are none for Father Judge and only 2 for Frankfurt who play on both offense and defense.
Again, that new formation for Frankfurt, the full house backfield, and now a long count apparently. The move is a legal procedure against Father Judge. The first penalty of the game, and it's Joe Diacono, the left tackle, number 74, who made contact initially. So it'll cost Judge 5 yards and move the ball up to the 30. So it'll be first down and 5 at the 30 for Frankfurt as they try to get some kind of a sustained drive going. Right now it's been a defensive game so far. Benson, Karpinski, Oldfield in the backfield, and again it is Oldfield coming in motion as he has done in just about every play, and Garfolo now rolls out. He finds a little room. That's Jeff Clark, the quarterback that has now moved in for Garfolo. And let's see, a flag is down apparently. And it may be against Judge. The initial, no, it's going to be against Frankfurt. And Al Angelo pulling the switch here with his quarterbacks as Joe Garofalo is taken out, and Jeff Clark, who has been punting, comes in.
Judge, a very interesting move. I talked to Al Angelo no more than 30 minutes before kickoff. He said that Jeffrey Clark was going to play almost exclusively on defense today, but here in the very, very early going, he brings him in to replace Garofalo, who did not move the team at all in their first offensive series.
I don't know whether or not there's an injury involved in that or not. Now number 20 is swinging in motion, and here goes Clark again on the rollout, and again he is going to be stacked up in there by the defense. Archidiacono made the stop. Number 74, who atoned for the illegal procedure move. And now Garofalo comes back, and also Mike Mullane, the defensive left end, number 53, who is certainly a scholar. He totaled 1,000 on the college boards, we understand, and you can't do a heck of a lot better than that. All right, it is now second down, 9 yards to go for Frankfurt. And Garofalo going to the air is the pass, almost an interception there. And number 42, Darrell Miller, the top receiver there for Frankfurt, says that there may have been some contact. There certainly was, as both players tripped. Bob Maley and Miller went down. But there is no flag, so it will be third down along 9 yards to go. And again, George Golding comes back in, the end, replacing Ed Cornell, probably with a play. And number 32, Rick Bozzelli, has checked in at fullback.
Angelo told me he did not want to be forced to throw this afternoon very much, but he's going to have to do that very early, as you can see here. The problem is he is up against a 5-man front. They usually face a 4-man front in the City League. Father Judge throws a 5-man front, and it's confusing their running game.
All right, there's the handoff on the running back, George Benson. He picks up a few yards, but Steve Dano lowers the boom on him, moving the ball up to about the 34-yard line, but it'll be 4th down and 6 yards to go for Frankford.
Obviously, Father Judge expecting Benson to carry fairly often this afternoon. Benson is probably the best college prospect of any of the players here today. He's probably going to end up at the University of Michigan next year, and he is one of maybe 3 or 4 players here today who may play big-time college football.
All right, Pete Chelinski to the far side, and it looks like the punt's going to be short again, and they're going to let it die, and the ball will die on about the 38-yard line. All right, we'll be back with more of the city championship game after this message.
Super Hits of the Superstars, a great new double album from K-Tel. Original hits, original stars, Batman, Turner, Overdrive. Gladys Knight and the Pips. Superstar Elton John. Baby Snow. Blackbird. Barry Manilow. Don McCoy. Hot Chocolate. Stiller's Wheel. Billy Preston. Golden Earring. Reunion and Paper Lace. The Night Chicago Dive. Hughes Corporation. Sugarloaf. Get Super Hits of the Superstars. A great 2-record set. $7.99 from K-Tel. Tapes $9.99.
K-Tel Superstars available at Litz, Zollinger, Harnett, Boscov's, Corvettes, Woolworth, Wilco, Jamesway Discount, McCrory, McClellan, Green, Newberry, Kings Grandway, and Sam Goody.
Back here at the 38th Annual City High School Championship game, Father Judge there on the left in the blue and Frankford High School on the right in the red. Don Tollefson?
So far, neither team has been able to move the ball very much, but Angelo, the Frankford coach, is very worried about the big play nature of the Father Judge offense. Mike McCabe threw an 83-yard touchdown pass in their playoff victory over St. Joseph Prep. Angelo is worried he can do the same thing here today.
All right, the pitch back to Giovanni, who is stacked up and around the 35-yard line. He'll lose a couple as they had Chelinski in motion. And the stop in there was made by Laster, Bernie Laster. You'll hear a lot of his name, and also the right end, Fran Lepowski. The offensive lineup for Father Judge on the line is Charles Hoyt. And at the tackles, it'll be Terry O'Neill and also Joe Kamnick. At the guards, John Parsons and Bob Summers. The center is Ray Lorenz. Of course, the quarterback is Mike McKay. There's the fake handoff, and look at this. This is Chelinski, Petey Chelinski, one of the fastest men on the club, who has 4.7 speed, moves the ball up to about the 46-yard line. And Mike DeCipio, the safety, made the stop. So it will be 3rd down. Joe Kamnick also there in on the tackle. 3rd down now as he picks up almost 10 yards on that play. And it'll be 3rd and 3. 5, 6, almost a 7-man, 8-man line up there now. And there is some contact, and we're going to have some flags down, and it may be illegal procedure against Frankford. Tom McCreesh came in hard, and he subs a lot for Herb Smith there at the left tackle spot.
So as long as we have a penalty, very interesting story about referee Tom Elliott today. He's a collegiate referee. Last year he was refereeing the Princeton-Rutgers game. That was a scoreless tie until there were about 4 minutes left in the game. Rutgers went ahead 6-0. The Rutgers fans were so excited they tore down the goalpost. When Princeton scored with seconds remaining, they tried to line up for a PAT. Everyone realized there were no goalposts. They went for a 2-point conversion and missed it. As a result, Tom Elliott led to the rule change that every college must have reserved goalposts on their property at all times.
All right, the quarterback back for the pass. He's got his man Chelinski, and he's still on his feet there before being dropped inside the 30-yard line down to about the 28. Bill Jones finally made the stop as Mike McKay zeroes in, and after having the first down of the game just moments ago, quickly Father Judge has 2 in a row.
That was a 21-yard pass play, and that was exactly what Angelo was worried about. He says his Father Judge team is the kind of team that can lull you. They make you think they're going to keep the ball on the ground. All of a sudden, McKay will rear back and throw a pass just like that. A big play offense which can get you into trouble. Joe?
Turn split to the right side. There's the handoff to DiGiovanni, and he is stacked up down to about the 26-yard line. And pretty good tackling in there by Brand Lepowski, the right end. So it'll be second down. He picks up a couple of yards. They'll move it down to the 26. And Father Judge with the first sustained drive of this game. 3 minutes, 59 seconds to go in the first period. There is no score here at Veterans Stadium. Crowd, I would estimate, Don, maybe in the vicinity of 8,000. We're not sure, maybe 6.
It's not all that cold, but when we both got up this morning, Joe, we know that it was threatening. I'm sure a lot of people stayed home because they were worried about rain.
Peter Zielinski there on the near side, out of the I formation. McKay back to pass. He's going for the bomb down to the corner. He's got Zielinski. He's got it, but is he in? And the official says, yes, he was in for the touchdown, and you can see the Frankford players saying, no, he was out. The most vehement contester of it is Cliff Hutchins, the left end, but he says, no, it's a touchdown. Let's take a look. We will see a replay here. I don't know if we'll be able to see whether he was in. He tight-roped it right down the line, Don. Let's see. He had 1 foot in. It looked like he had the foot in.
Joe, the unfortunate thing there was that it was a very slow call by the officials. The one who was in the end zone did not make any signal. The one who was back near the 5 signaled a touchdown, but he waited a couple of seconds, and that always leads to disappointment on the part of the defense.
John McCarthy tries the extra point. It is good, despite the fact that Frankford was offside. So with 3:32 to go here in the first period, Father Judge, 7, Frankford, nothing. We'll be back with a kickoff in a moment.
Daddy, can we get a real piano someday?
For the things you'll need someday, save at PSFS.
Better put a little love away. Everybody needs a friend for a rainy day. Put a little love away.
At PSFS, your savings earn more because we pay more interest than ordinary banks.
Put a little love away for the things you want someday.
Comfort, yes, and confidence. This, too, is yours in Cordoba. Here is the confidence of knowing your automobile possesses a look of great dignity, with seats available in soft Corinthian leather. All this in a...
Come in today and test drive the success car of the year, Cordova, at your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
There you see the score. Father Judge 7, Frankford nothing, first quarter, 3:32 to go. As John McCarthy, number 86, will kick off for Father Judge. And the deep men are Cliff Hutchins, number 18, number 20, George Benson, number 35, Dan Oldfield. The ball is taken by Benson, a driving kick back to the 3. He's up to the 15, 20, 25, and stacked up and around the 26-yard line. Before being hit in there by about 3 different tacklers for Father Judge, and one of them would be number 70, Kevin Wild.
In looking back at the Father Judge touchdown, I'm sure Frankford coach Angelo is telling his defensive backs that although they must come up to help on the run and give Frankford that great pursuit we saw early, they also must be aware of the pass, as that killed them on the touchdown drive. One thing I noticed was that on both the touchdown drive and the 21-yard pass that preceded it, both Frankford defenders failed to play the ball very well. Joe?
Dan Oldfield on a fake handoff by Garofolo, the quarterback, and Oldfield moves over the 25 to about the 29-yard line. So it will be second down and about 6 yards to go as Kevin Bolin, the right end, made the stop. 6'1", 200 pounds. He's a senior.
Joe, we still haven't seen a great run by George Benson, but he's capable of breaking one at any time. He had a 65-yard touchdown in the game against Massbaum, which put Frankfurt into this game, and he can go all the way at any point.
Benson scores a touchdown every 7 carries with 26 this season. There is the handoff straight into the middle. Misdirection play, and that was Oldfield, who was stopped by the middle linebacker, Tony Marone. You'll also hear a lot about Matt Kaup, who spells his name K-A-U-P-P. an all-Catholic and all-area selection, who made 8 tackles and 2 fumble recoveries in the Catholic League Championship game against St. Joseph's Prep.
Joe, Father Judge Coach Whitey Sullivan told me that Tony Marone is the key to his defense. He plays over the center. If he can push that center back into the Frankford backfield, he can cause their offense all sorts of trouble.
Garofalo with a pass, and he's got his man up around the 40-yard line. That was Ed Cornell, number 48, who was dropped by Kevin Bolin. So it's a first down for Frankford, and I believe it's their first of the day.
Joe, another example of what I was talking about with the Frankford defense earlier. On that play, there were a lot of Father Judge defenders in the area. They seem a little bewildered by the whole thing, though, and they did not play the ball well, thus allowing a reception by Frankford.
The defensive line is Mike Mullane, Joe Archidiacono, Paul Kling, and Kevin Bolin for Father Judge. The lone setback now. We've got 2 tight ends in there. As Garofalo's got a man open, and there's the interception. Oh, there was almost by the cornerback. That was David Malinowski, the right cornerback, number 60, who had the ball wide open, but in his haste and anticipation dropped it.
That's exactly what I was talking about that the defenders should do. Malinowski played the ball perfectly. The only thing he failed to do was hold on for the interception, but he kept his eye on the ball.
Father Judge has 22 interceptions this season. Again, Frankford in that full house backfield. This is Benson. You got to watch him. He finds a little daylight. He powers his way over the 40 to about the 44. Tony Marone keys on him, and also Joe Archidiacono made the stop. So they are keying well on Benson and really bottling up the Frankfurt running game so far. The game that is a power game whereby they ran for something like 247 yards against Massbaum to win the public title. Now they come out again in the full house backfield, a formation that they had not used this season much at all. Garofalo, the quarterback, again goes to the air. He's going long down the sideline, loops it up in the air, and it's in and out of the hands of Darrell Miller, number 42, who was there but could not hold on. Mark Couch and also Bob Maley, number 24, were there to break it up.
Garofalo got off a good throw, Joe, excuse me, but it was just a little bit short. Miller had to come back and try to wait for the ball. Of course, that gives time for the defenders to catch up with you, and it was an incompletion.
I'll tell you, his receivers have been open early, but it seems that he's waiting that split second too long to unload the ball to give the Judge defensive backs time to recover. Clark is back to kick. He kicks one high and relatively deep. Fair catch is called for by number 80. That would be Paul Lafferty, number 88. And the ball will be spotted down on the 29-yard line. So Father Judge will take over for another offensive series with just 50 seconds to go here in the first period. The score, Father Judge 7, Frankfurt nothing, and this is the 38 City High School Championship game.
27-yard punt, that play for Clark. Whitey Sullivan, the coach of Father Judge, told me before the game that at some point today he might use some of the innovations of the Dallas Cowboys, including the Rogers Staubach shotgun.
Giovanni in motion to the other side, and this is Julinski, and he is stopped quickly as they try the misdirection, the fake handoff to number 34 at first, Tom Little, the fullback. Herb Smith, the left tackle, a senior, made the stop.
I talked earlier about Garofalo, the Frankfurt quarterback, and how he is so excellent at the timing of his handoffs on a misdirection kind of a play. On that play there, it was too slow in developing for Father Judge. McKay took too long to get the handoff away. As a result, a loss on the play of 2 yards.
So it's second down, and now they come out with a modified full house backfield, and there's a running back who was stacked up immediately. I believe it was Ed Componio. No, that was Petey Shalinski on that carry, and Bernie Laster led the defensive charge. So it'll be third down. He picked up about a yard. Third down and 11 on their own 28-yard line is Father Judge. And there's the gun sounding the end of the first period with the score. Father Judge 7, Frankfurt nothing. We'll be back for the second quarter in a moment.
Introducing Popeil's Crepe Magician, the pan that turns everyday foods and leftovers into exciting dishes and tempting desserts. Pour easy-to-make batter into preheated Crepe Magician. Pour off excess. Cook for about 15 seconds and flip crepe after crepe for about 2 cents each. Popeil's Crepe Magician with bonus extras, freezer tray and booklet, only $9.95 complete.
Available at these fine stores.
Get on K-Tel's Music Express, a great new album, 20 original hits by the original stars, Captain and Tennille,
Love will keep us together.
Austin Roberts, Elton John Band, Sammy John,
Gonna love me in my Chevy van, and that's alright.
Casey and the Sunshine Band,
Get down tonight. Get down tonight.
Frankie Valli, Phoebe Snow, Bazooka, Ken CC, Barry Manilow, Harry Chapin, and many, many more. David Geddes,
Run, Joey, run, Joey, run.
Ozark Mountain Daredevil,
Jackie,
Richie Family. The best album ever, K-Tel's Music Express, $5.99, tape $6.99.
K-Tel Music Express, available at Litz, Zollinger, Harnett, Boscov's, Corvettes, Woolworth, Woolco, Jamesway Discount, McCrory, McClellan Green, Newberry, Kings Grandway, and Sam Goody.
Back at Vet Stadium, Joe Pellegrino and Don Tollefson, Father Judge on the attack now, leading 7-0 over Frankford. And this, the last football game for many of these youngsters out on the field. And there's a quick pass over the middle to the end, Charlie Hoyt. And he is dropped on about the 41-42 line as Mickey Bradley, number 25, was in on the stop. Also number 44, Jeff Clark, the right halfback. An interesting thing about Hoyt and the Frankford free safety Mike DeCipio is that they're next door neighbors. And you can believe that there's some kind of rivalry as those two meet in the defensive backfield on occasion. Petey Shalinsky now split to the far right side. He's the touchdown maker in this game. And there's a quick handoff. The first man in the eye, the running back, I believe was Little. Take a look at the number. Number 34, Tom Little, the fullback, who made honorable mention all city. And Paul Malone, the middle linebacker, interior linebacker, made the stop.
Joe, I'm very impressed with quarterback Mike McKay for Father Judge. So far, he's completed 4 out of 5 passes for 66 yards. More importantly, he mixes up his offense very well.
Second down, about 3. There is the handoff to the running back, Jim DiGiovanni. And he is over the midfield stripe into Frankfurt territory and good enough for the first down. It'll be marked in the vicinity of the 47 as Bernie Lassiter, the defensive left end, number 53, made the stop. And the right, or make it the left guard and tackle, John Parsons and Terry O'Neill, respectively, opened up the big hole for Judge on that particular play. First down and 10, Father Judge out of the eye, man slotted to the right side, and again it's McKay to the air. There's the pass. He's got his man open, and good enough for another first down is Tom Kearns, number 80, before being dropped over there by DeCipio, number 46, for Frankfurt. So Judge is now beginning to get that offense in gear as they lead 7-0 here in this early moments of the first or second quarter.
That was a very nice pattern there. Pete Shalinsky, number 14, cleared out the Frankfurt defense. He went deep. That opened it up underneath for Kearns. A nice completion, a nice gain.
Frankfurt in the I formation, and here's Shalinsky coming around to this side as he tries to take the flow around to the left side before being stacked up in there by number 62. That would be Tom McCreesh. And a few others in that interior line. Bill Jones, number 72, also in on that play.
Al Angelo, the Frankfurt coach, has a great defensive dilemma right now. He needs those defensive backs to come up and help out against the run, but every time he seems to do that too much. Mike McKay, the quarterback for Father Judge, is smart enough to mix it up and throw in a pass, and that hurts Frankfurt as well.
Tom Kearns split to the right side. Shalinsky in the slot, and this is McKay, who is going to run. He finds some daylight. He's still on his feet down to about the 31-yard line. Mike McKay before being stopped by Bernie Mullen, the outside left linebacker for Frankfurt, number 47. So Judge picks up some yardage, a couple of missed tackles there as Frankfurt almost stopped them. So the ball is moved down to about the 30-yard line, and it'll be third down and about 4.5 yards to go for the first down.
Those are the plays which give coaches gray hairs. Number 66, Bob Brown, who's now leaving the game for Frankfurt, had a beautiful shot at McKay, and he just blew the tackle.
It's been a frustrating time for Al Angelo, who has gotten to the championship game for now the 5th time and still looking for that first win. McKay to the air, down the right sideline. The man falls down, and we almost had the interception by number 18. That's Cliff Hutchins, who could not hold on. And Hutchins, a little slow to get up, but he's okay. As Charlie Hoyt was the intended receiver, but Hoyt went down. So it's going to be 4th down, and now Whitey Sullivan will decide what he does here. I think his field goal kicker is out of range.
Yeah, he is, Joe. Cliff Hutchins, the man who was defending on that play, as you mentioned before, is going to West Point. He is a very determined young man. He's only 5'11", 138. He says he's going to put on weight, and next year he is going to play for Homer Smith at Army, he tells me.
From 37 yards, he's going to try it anyway. A 47-yard kick, but he drives it too low, and the kick is no good. So Frankford will take over. 1st down and 10 on their own 20 as they stop that Judge drive and try to get some offense going for themselves here. It's been a bad day for them so far, with only a total of 29 yards, total yardage in the first period alone for Frankfurt.
For those of you used to watching pro football, we're playing by college rules today, so it's much less of a risk to take that kind of a field goal attempt from far out because the ball goes to the 20 instead of being returned to the line of scrimmage.
Once again, Garofolo, the quarterback, brings them out in the full house backfield. There's the fake handoff, and it's big George Benson, the big fullback, who picks up a couple of yards over the 20 to about the 23-yard line. The stop made in there by Joe Archidiacono, and also Mike Mullane, the left end. Archidiacono, number 74, Mullane, number 53.
We mentioned what a great college prospect Benson is. He's headed for Bo Schembechler at the University of Michigan, most likely. He is an extremely humble athlete. He says about Al Angelo, coaching is how we got here. We've got the best coaching in the city. He credits his coach with all of his personal success.
Pitch back to Benson, and Judge was waiting for it as number 74, Joe Archidiacono makes the stop.
Joe,
well, I tell you, those Italian fellows with more than 3 or 4 syllables are tough, let me tell you.
Can you say that 3 or 4 times fast?
I'm still trying to say it once. Actually, his teammates call him Archie. Maybe we should do the same thing.
Joe, he is another one of the walk-ons, a man who was not on the football team all 4 years at Father Judge. He was a center on their basketball team, finally decided to show up for football, and has done extremely well.
Garofalo with a handoff to Benson, and he goes nowhere once again. And that defense is really stacking up on him. Tony Moreau, the middle linebacker, in there. Matt Kalp also helping out. The linebacker, Steve Diano, was there. And this Father Judge defense is really showing us something out here.
They definitely are, but Frankfurt is making it easy for him, Joe. If Garofalo does not put the ball in the air at all, that means that 11 men can almost always be looking for the run. They don't have to key on Benson. They just have to come up to the line, and they'll almost always stop Frankfurt. They've got to put the ball in the air at some point.
So Jeff Clark is the man back in punt formation on his own 4-yard line. He's got to be careful with handling that ball. It's off a high, lazy, spiraling kick, and it's going to be a call for a fair catch. He fumbled the ball. That was number 24, Bob Maley. But I believe he got it back. He did. The ball is going to be marked on about the 43-yard line. So Whitey Sullivan of the Father Judge Rooters and also the club had a lump in the throat there for a moment, but they got the ball back.
But there's a penalty on the play.
Flag is down. And let's see.
They're going to march it off against Father Judge. It may be defensive holding. I'm not sure they're marching it off right now.
If it is, it'll be an automatic first down. And the offense will be back on the field for Frankfurt. And they're making sure the yard markings are correct. And referee Tom Elliott moves the ball all the way up to the 32-yard line. So it'll be first down for Frankfurt as the defensive holding penalty hurts Judge here, at least momentarily.
Whitey Sullivan said before the game, penalties can really kill you in high school football, especially when you're on offense. If you get a big 15-yard penalty, it is tough to make it up because they don't throw as well as they do in college and the pros.
Benson in motion. Garofalo back, going to the air, being pressured. He throws over the sideline, almost intercepted as he went for his receiver, number 38, on that play.
You can obviously see...
38, the fullback is Dave Karpinski.
Joe, you can obviously see from that play that Frankford does not throw the ball very often. Garofalo should not have done what he did. There were two men rushing in on his receiver. He still put the ball up in the air. Very lucky to avoid an interception.
Garofalo comes out now, and Jeff Clark goes in at quarterback as the center, Bill Jones, comes up over the ball. And again, they go to the full house backfield. And it's a four-man front for Frankfurt, or rather for Father Judge. And now here's Clark rolling out. And look at this. Clark on his feet. He picks up the first down, moves up to the 45-yard line as Jeffrey Clark, the punter, who has seen little action and actually has not handed off the ball since he has been in there today. Steve Dano, the left linebacker, made the stop, and Clark now comes out as Garofalo comes in with another play from Coach Al Angelo.
Great personal effort by Clark for 14 yards. Every time he's come into the game at quarterback, he's usually kept the ball just like that. Father Judge should expect it, but because of his effort, he got 14 big yards.
Oldfield in motion. This is Benson. Straight ahead, breaks two tackles and moves the ball over midfield to about the 49-yard line. Big George Benson. Matt Kalp, the right linebacker, number 66, made the stop. And now we may have a penalty against Frankfurt, and it looks like it may be holding or face mask.
It's going to be a holding penalty, Joe, and that's what I talked about a moment ago. Whitey Sullivan said before the game that if you get a penalty during an offensive drive, it really kills you in high school ball because you do not throw as often, you do not throw as long as they do in the colleges and the pros, and as a result, the big 15-yarders can really kill a drive.
Well, Frankfurt was the first public league team to win the city championship in 1940. They defeated West Catholic 13-0. Back in 1964, Father Judge's only appearance here in the game, they won over Frankfurt 19-18. They're trying to make it two in a row. The linebackers now faking the blitz, and that's Oldfield in motion. Garofalo with a handoff, and that's the running back, Karpinski, the fullback, who goes straight into the line, picks up a couple of yards on a quick hitter, moves up to about the 33, and Archie Diokino made the stop. And it will be second down now and about 22 yards to go.
Joe, I've got to think that George Benson is hurting from that injury to his right big toe. He has a light cast on that right big toe. It is slowing him up. He's only gained 2 yards in 6 carries, and that is not the George Benson we've seen before.
Oldfield slotted to the right side. There's the handoff to Oldfield, who collides with his blocking back, and he is swarmed under. Inside the 30 to about the 28. Archie Diokino led the charge, number 74. We're seeing an awful lot of him today. Honorable mention All-City, but he's playing like All-World today. And Mike Corcoran, the left cornerback, also helped out, another senior. And it'll be third down now and pretty close to 27 yards to go for the first down.
Archie Diokino is one of the few three-sport athletes on this Father Judge team. As I mentioned before, he's a center on their basketball team. He's also played catcher on their baseball team. In this day of specialization, most of their players play only football.
Now we got the backs in a double wing formation, and the only setback there's the pop over the middle, complete to the 40, all the way up to midfield is Ed Cornell, the right end who made the reception. Obviously, another new play that Al Angelo has placed in the playbook today and moves the ball to fourth down and about 5 yards to go.
It's a 21-yard completion, Joe. That's exactly what Frankfurt has to do. Garofalo has to put the ball in the air. He did it well there. Father Judge was not expecting it. It's not good enough for the first down, but it was still a lengthy completion. And now it looks as if Frankfurt is going to go for it. They're trailing only 7-0 with 4:21 remaining in the first half. Al Angelo says, boys, we got to get it.
Well, you saw the replay, and one of the big long yardage gainers for Frankfurt today. Again, the full house backfield. Garofalo calling signals. That defense poised, Oldfield in motion, and now there's time called, illegal procedure, delay of the game, and that's going to really kill it, and that will decide it for Frankfurt to punt it away. So going on 4th and 5, they take too much time in the huddle. A little indecision there on the part of the club to decide whether to go for the first down, and at the time that they did, it was too late. So Jeff Clark will go back into punt formation, and 3 men will be back deep to receive. Paul Lafferty, Bob Maley, and also Pete Chilinsky. And the deep man again is Lafferty. There is a good spiraling kick. Lafferty all the way back to his 26. He breaks one tackle, and he fumbles the ball, but he fumbles it out of bounds. So the ball will be marked down in the vicinity of the 37-yard line. Greg Shinners made the stop. 29-yard punt, a 9-yard return for Father Judge. So it'll be first down. Father Judge leading here, 7-0 here in the second quarter. 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go from Vet Stadium, the 38th annual City High School Football Championship. Running back taken there, and the handoff straight ahead is Tom Little, the fullback, 5'10", 195. And he is stacked up in there by the middle of the line. Herb Smith led the charge, and also the middle linebacker, or the outside linebacker, Paul Malone. So it'll be second down, about 8 yards to go. That defensive line for Frankfurt, Bernie Laster, Herb Smith, Bill Jones, and Fran Lepowski. There is one setback now, double wing formation. There's the pass by McKay, intercepted by DeCipio. He's got it at the 40. He's down to the 30, the 25, 20, 15, 10. Mike DeCipio goes in for the touchdown. And all of a sudden, just like that, it's a new football game as Frankfurt comes back, and Mike DeCipio with the interception goes an unofficial 46 yards on that play. Oh, brother, did that turn it around fast. We'll take a look at the replay. How about that? Our colleague Don Tollefson is en route down to the field for some halftime activities, and we'll try to see the replay in a moment as Mike DeCipio, the All-City second-team selection, there it is, right down the sidelines, got some great blocks out there, and went about 45 yards for the touchdown on the interception. And it is 7-6, and now Frankfurt's going to go for 2. The backs are split. Garofalo going to the air. The pass in the end zone. It's broken up incomplete. And Father Judge holds on. And so that is the score. Tony Marone, the middle linebacker, number 51, knocked it away. But we've still got a new football game. 2 minutes and 58 seconds to go here in the second period. It is Father Judge 7 and Frankfurt 6.
I know my own needs, and what I need from an automobile, I know I get from this new Cordoba. For me, there is nothing beyond Cordoba's tasteful appearance. Nothing beyond the luxury of seats available in rich crushed velour.
Come in today and test drive the success car of the year, Cordoba, at your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Next college.
And then law school.
For the things you'll need someday, save at PSFS.
Better put a little love away. Everybody needs a penny for a rainy day. Put a little love away.
At PSFS, your savings earn more because we pay more than ordinary banks.
Put a little love away for the things you want someday.
There you see the score. Frankfurt has just struck quickly on a defensive mistake, or I should say an offensive mistake, as the 46-yard interception by DeCipio. There's the kick by Clark. It's going to be taken by Shalinsky. He's got it at about the 16, and here goes Shalinsky. Up to the 30, finds some daylight, all the way up to the 40-yard line, make it the 39-yard line before being dropped in there by Richard Michalek. So it'll be first down and 10, a 24-yard return. The ball on the 39-yard line, and Father Judge takes over. Again, their backfield is Jim DiGiovanni, Ed Pomponio, number 44, Tom Little, number 34, and the quarterback, Mike McKay, with a number 14, Pete Shalinsky, also at a running back position. Now we've got a lone setback, that's Little, and McKay going to the air once again, and he's got Shalinsky out of bounds. Is it complete or is it not? Yes, he did stay in bounds, and the ball will be in Frankfurt territory. Now wait, let's take a look here. The official is marked as to where he's going out of bounds, but there is an illegal procedure penalty against Father Judge. As the clock reads 2:47 here in the second period, Father Judge 7 and Frankford 6. This one stacked up as a very close football game. Many people said it might only be 1 point difference this afternoon. Right now, that's what we've got. But we've still got more than half a football game to go. Number 66 is checking in now for Frankfurt, and that would be Bob Brown at the outside linebacking position. All right, the backs are in the eye now. Double wing, and there's the handoff to number 22, Jim DiGiovanni, who picked up 111 yards and 20 carries in the 29-6 win over St. Joe's last week. Mickey Bradley made the stop, the right linebacker. So it'll be second down now and 10 as he gets the yardage back from the preceding penalty. As the clock continues to move, 2:20 to go here in the second period. And moving over here on this side is Jim DiGiovanni, split out on the near side, turns to the far side. McKay looking and passing, and almost another interception as number 66 got his hand up on the ball. That was Bob Brown, and Mickey Bradley almost had the interception, but it hit the pads of the helmet and bounced off. So Frankfurt now asserting itself a little bit here, not only with a touchdown, but also defensively. And it is third down in this game that means so much to these two teams. Not only a battle for the championship of the city, but also in a sense of the neighborhood. Lone setback. Man in motion is DiGiovanni. McKay being pressured. They set up the screen, and this is Shalinsky with a lot of room and a lot of tacklers in front of him. Blockers, I should say, the ball over midfield. Out around the 46 as Bernie Mullen, the outside linebacker, made the stop. A pickup of 13 yards on that play, and it'll be good enough to salvage the first down for Father Judge as time continues to move. Number 52 checking in now. That is Herb Smith, and Tom McCreesh again comes out as they flip-flop back and forth. Shalinsky has picked up 60 yards in 3 pass receptions so far today for Father Judge. 1:38 to go. Judge leading 7-6. Pete Shalinsky split to the right side. The backs are in the eye. McKay going to the air again over the middle, and almost another interception as number 44, Jeffrey Clark, batted it away from Cliff Hutchins, who apparently had a clear interception. But that's called good coverage. Mike McKay going for Pete Shalinsky. And both teams seem to be opening it up a little bit here, especially Father Judge, which will go to the air 15 to 20 times is the estimate. Frankfurt has only gone to the air on an average of 6 to 7 times. They haven't had to because of their great running attack, but the ground game has not picked up too much today. Charlie Hoyt is split here to the near side, and there's the running back who finds a lot of daylight. That is Jim DiGiovanni, the top running back, who picks up another first down and moves the ball down to the 35-yard line before Fran Lepowski made the stop. A pickup of 13 on that play. So, Father Judge sustaining the drive, picking up the first downs on key plays when they have to, and Father Judge calls a timeout with 1:22 to go here in the second period. Again, it is 7-6 as Father Judge scored on a 26-yard pass from Mike McKay to Pete Shalinsky down in the right corner of the end zone, and a disputed play by Frankfurt, and then Frankfurt scored an interception. Let's take a timeout with a score 7-6. Back here at Veterans Stadium, Joe Pellegrino along with Don Tollefson, our exclusive spotter Bill Friel, our statistician Howard Eskin, our producer Bill Werndell, as we bring you Father Judge versus Frankfurt City High School Championship, the 38th annual meeting. Charles Hoyt split here to the near side, and there's the handoff to the second man out of the eye. That's Jim DiGiovanni, who moves the ball over the 35 and down to about the 33-yard line before Bernie Laster, one of the top defensive men for Frankfurt, makes the stop. Number 53, who plays defensive left end. He's a senior, 5'11", and 195. 1 minute to go here in the second period with the score Father Judge 7, Frankfurt 6. And Judge has certainly taken the offensive play away from Frankfurt today, but Frankfurt capitalized on an error with an interception. McKay going long. Once again, he got his man down the sideline, Shalinsky, but he says he catches him out of bounds. Shalinsky catches the ball on the 4, but he caught it out of bounds as Mike DeCipio was right there with him. Petey Shalinsky, one of the fastest men on the club. He's got 4.7 speed. Number 14, and has been kind of a game breaker with his Father Judge club. Judge at 12-1, Frankford 12-0. Split here to the near side, Charlie Hoyt. Slotted is Shalinsky. Flag is down. McKay going long again, and the pass ball's incomplete. He could not go deep enough with that pass as he was going for Shalinsky, but the flag is dropped. It's going to be against Judge. Mike DeCipio was there. And the initial call is that it will go against Judge. It would be third down. Matter of fact, they may not even take the penalty. It is declined. The penalty is declined. So it will be fourth down and about 8 yards to go for Father Judge as the clock reads 39 seconds in here the second period. Whether or not Judge will sit on the ball and go into the locker room with the 1-point lead, or whether they'll go for the bomb here on fourth down. Tom Kearns and Shalinsky are split to the right side. They're going to go for it. McKay looking long, throwing down the sideline. Again, it's Shalinsky who makes the catch out of bounds. And again, DeCipio was there with him. And again, another flag is down. And it may be pass interference against Frankford down in the vicinity of the 14-yard line. The clock still reads 32 seconds, and this could be probably one of the key plays in this game so far, as the partisan fans of Father Judge on the far side of the field are ecstatic over that one. Whether or not it was the left cornerback, Cliff Hutchins, we are not sure, but it occurred in that vicinity. So Judge, all of a sudden, first down at the 14-yard line. Hoyt is split here to the near side. The up back is Little, and here comes McKay going to the air, being pressured. And he gets it off. There's the pass, and out of bounds, and he goes for the fullback, Tom Little, in the vicinity of the 2-yard line. Just out of his reach. Tom Little could not come up with it. So it'll be second down, and the clock now reads 24 seconds. And Frankford defensively with its hands full right now, trying to dig in. Our colleague Don Tollefson down on the field, and will do some halftime interviewing with the coaches. Coming in now, number 62, as they continue to flip-flop, Tom McCreesh for Herb Smith, the left tackle. Second down and 10 at the 14. The back's in the eye. McKay again going to the air. The pass over the middle and broken up and almost intercepted again as Jeffrey Clark, the right cornerback, comes over, and Bernie Mullen almost had a piece of the ball also, number 47.
The intended pass to Charlie Hoyt incomplete.
So it will now be third down and still 10 yards to go. The ball resting on the Frankfurt 14 as Coach Whitey Sullivan sends in a play. John Parsons, number 63, the left guard, comes in. The offensive line is Hoyt, O'Neill, Parsons, Kearns, Kamnick, Summers, Lorenz. Lorenz, the center, over the ball. McKay, 19 seconds to go, over the middle. Intercepted again by DeCipio. DeCipio, the touchdown maker, pulls the ball out of the air and is dropped down to about the 8-yard line. And Mike DeCipio again saves Frankfurt as Father Judge was down close but cannot capitalize with only 15 seconds remaining on the clock. So Frankfurt will take over and probably run it out and be content to go into the locker room trailing by 1 point as Joe Garofalo, the quarterback, comes back in. Jeffrey Clark has seen some surprising service at quarterback today. He has been used mainly on keeper plays. Double wing formation, the backs are split. Benson, and we've got some procedure problems now. Apparently it was going to be a keeper. Bill Jones and Garofalo on the snap had some problems. See what the initial call is by referee Tom Elliott. The ball on the 8-yard line. Frankford is taking a timeout now, I believe, or is it an official's timeout momentarily? Garofalo has come over to the sidelines with 12 seconds to go. It is a timeout charged to Frankford. And Bazzelli, the fullback, comes out. And now time is apparently back in. Garofalo, the quarterback, after talking with Coach Angelo. The center is Bill Jones coming out over the ball, number 72. And split here to the near side is Dan Oldfield. There's the handoff, and Benson stacks in straight ahead, but cannot pick up any yardage. If he does, he gets maybe a yard. And Tony Moreau, the middle linebacker, makes the stop as the clock ticks off. Time has expired. That is the end of the first half. With the score in this, the 38 City High School Championship game, Father Judge 7, Frankford High School 6. We'll be back with the halftime activities and more.
Golfers, if you want to improve your game, I'll give you the most important lesson you've ever had. Don't laugh, watch.
If you play golf once a week or less, it's almost impossible to play well until you develop a good, smooth swing. All these golfers have the same problem, no swing. The way to develop a good swing is with the K-Tal Golf King. Simply peg it into the turf, take a wood or iron, and swing, swing, swing. Have a swing session with Golf King every day and see the improvement in your game. For correct grip and stance, follow directions in the back of the package. Even adjust for left-handers. Practice high tee shots, or quickly adjust Golf King to lower the ball for fairway shots. Imagine, no balls to chase. K-Tal's Golf King comes complete with anchor pegs, extra ball, and how to swing chart. Your own golf clinic at home. $4.99 from K-Tal.
Available at Woolworth Woolco, McCrory, McClellan Green, Newberry, Zollinger Harnett, Eckerd Drug, Corvette's Toy Department, King's, Green Drug, Quaker Drug, and Brooks Discount.
All right, back here at Veterans Stadium, you see the bands coming onto the field now. And let's go down to the field with reporter Don Tollefson, who has Coach Whitey Sullivan and Father Judge with him.
With me, Whitey Sullivan, the Father Judge coach, whose Crusaders lead Frankfurt 7-6. Whitey, your defense seemed to have them pretty well bottled up all during the first half until their touchdown drive. What changed?
Well, defensively, we've been sound all week trying to stop Benson, but they got the one break there on the jump pass to set up the first down. But we've been doing a real good job on defense. We have to move the ball on offense. We're making too many offensive mistakes. We're probably trying to do too many things, and in trying to do that in a big game, I think we made a couple critical mistakes on turnovers. We drive the ball down here. We're trying to set up a field goal. We automatically line, and we get in trouble. So we're making mistakes. We can cut out the mistakes. I think we win the football game, Don.
Benson has a toe injury on his right foot. Do you think he's running slower than when you've seen him before?
He looks a little bit slower, yeah, but still, we got to put points on the board. They're playing a real good defensive game, but it's probably our mistakes that are killing us a little bit more. They're not exactly shutting us down. We're throwing the ball to them rather than to us.
You told me before the game you might try some of the Dallas Cowboy innovations, such as the shotgun. Are you going to stay away from that because it's too complex right now, or what?
Not so much as too complex, but that's a come-from-behind type of offense, and we're not exactly come-from-behind. We don't consider, we're not blowing anybody out on offense, but we'll probably stay with what we're doing unless they score an awful lot of points.
One of your best receivers, Paul Lafferty, has gotten hurt. He went for a long touchdown in the playoff game against St. Joseph's Prep. What does that do to your passing game?
Well, it hurts us a little bit long, Don, because he's our deep threat. He can fly.
And he will definitely not be playing in the second half then?
We're going to take a look at halftime and see, because he can burn long. He's only a junior. He's a great receiver.
Remember a game back in 1964, the last time Judge and Frankfurt played? They won by a conversion. Is it going to happen again today?
Well, we hope not. We hope we can put some points on the board in the second half.
Okay, Whitey, best of luck in the second half. Thank you. Okay, we'll be back at Veterans Stadium where Father Judge leads Frankfurt 7-6 at halftime of the City Championship game right after this.
You're listening to the Frankfurt Band. They played the Notre Dame Victory March. Now they just got through the Frankfurt Spirit song. They're going to be playing Oh My My with 12 majorettes, 9 color guards, 28 flag standards. Wheel movement in the center of the band, and they will form a square, and later on they will form the letter F as they play the Frankfurt Fight Song. Again, the Frankfurt High School Marching Band. All right, you have just watched the Frankford High School Band under the direction of Mr. Brian Pastore, and we'll be back for a look at the Father Judge Band and more halftime activities after this message. All right, there you see the Father Judge Band there on the field. Here at Met Stadium at halftime, Father Judge leading Frankfurt 7-6. And with me in the booth is Larry Marshall, the fine kick return man of the Philadelphia Eagles, who was just about to board a plane for Kansas City. We're going to get you out of here, Kansas City, I should say Denver. Get you out of here quickly, Larry, but you're very familiar with this game because you played for Bishop Egan in 66 and 67. And I guess the emotion factor, especially with two neighborhood teams, has got to really enter into this even more than a team that isn't in your neighborhood.
It sure is, Joe. It's a great game, not only because it's a game between the Catholic schools and the public schools, but because Frankfurt and Judge are such rivals in their own neighborhood, and most of these kids that are playing grown up together and probably are best of friends for one reason or another. One went to Frankfurt and one went to Judge, and so it's a big game for them, and it's you know, you can see by evidence of the score at 7-6, and they're out there fighting for everything they can get.
Do you think in a game like this that teams, so much riding on it that maybe they're a little tight and maybe their own personality on the field is a little hampered?
Well, naturally, Joe, in a big game like this, the adrenaline gets going, and I think, you know, when you know you're playing against your buddies and your friends, you're a little bit tight and whatever, but, you know, like I said, in the second quarter there, they sort of loosened up a little bit, and both offenses got going there, and I think the second half will be real big, and I think Father Judge looks to me like there's a better ball club, and I think they'll come out on top.
Larry, as you look around and you've been in this area for a while, do you see a decline in interest in high school football championship games? Everybody seems to be blaming it on television, but is television the main culprit, or is it just simply maybe a more increase in a lack of interest?
I think it's a lack of interest, Joe. I don't think television has anything to do with it. You know, when you get some of these high schools that have 5,000 and 6,000 kids that go to the school, you know, with parents and friends and all, you think the crowds would be a lot better, and they're not. I just don't think that the interest is there, and, you know, and it hurts the kids, not, you know, when they don't have the folks coming out for the games and whatever, and especially a big game like today, the weather's fine, and, but yet, you know, there's still not too big of a crowd here. I think it's just lack of interest more than anything.
Do the kids think about that, or is it simply a football game on their minds?
It's strictly football, and when they get out here and the whistle blows, it's time to play ball, and you don't even realize who's in the stands and who isn't. It's who's playing opposite you, and you know, you just want to come out a winner.
It's got to be a great day for the kids who are out there. For many of them, the last really organized football game they'll ever play in, and I guess there's a little sadness in their hearts, but at least a great feeling of accomplishment and being in this the ultimate for them at that level.
That's right. There's very few that'll probably go on to college and be able to play college football, and today's their last day, and they're giving it everything they have. They may never, you know, don the cap again, and you know, they're giving it everything they have, and I'm sure everybody's out there trying to win the ball game.
Larry, how about your football team, the Eagles? You go to Denver, really not too much at stake for either team. How do you enter a game like that? You just have to still give it your all, don't you?
Well, right, Joe. You know, we're professionals, and, you know, it's gotten to the point now where we're out of the playoffs. We're not in the run for it anymore, and Denver's in the same situation. But still, it's a game. If you're not playing for the playoffs, it's at least, you know, you play as a team, you play for yourself, and to go out there and give it the best you have every play, and just hope that, you know, things can continue to be a little bit better for the rest of the year.
I know the Eagles are very happy you're back with them. I guess it was a little source of concern to you that they cut you earlier in the season, but they realized that they let a good man go.
Well, the tough situation, Joe, and fortunately for me, and it's turned out real well. You know, Mike's sort of, you know, remedied the situation, and I'm real glad that he did, and I'm glad I could help the team whatever I could. It's a shame that we couldn't have a better year team-wise, but like I said, we got 2 more games. We could salvage something with, you know, winning these last 2 ball games, so I just hope that we go out to Denver and have a good ball game.
Okay, Larry Marshall, I don't want to hold you anymore because I know you've got to get to the airport. Thanks so much for being up here. Good luck in Denver tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Okay, Larry Marshall of the Philadelphia Eagles, thanks again. And now let's go again, take a look at the Father Judge High School Band. Okay, there you see the Father Judge High School Band under the direction of Mike McDonough. The drum major is Kevin Alger. They're playing That's Entertainment, Red and Blue Banner, and they will form the letters FJ. Mississippi Mud, Rock Around the Clock, features the tuba, and they will perform a clock. And these are the Marching Crusaders, 71 members strong. Father Judge High School Band, again under the direction of Mike McDonough. All right, back here at Vet Stadium, we're going to take a look at the replays, if we can, of the touchdown. Will be coming up in a moment. Once again, the total statistics are Father Judge far ahead as far as offense is concerned. Now, this is the touchdown pass of 26 yards of Mike McKay down to P.D. Shalinsky, and there it is, 26 yards. It was disputed by Frankford, but the replay showed that he was inbounds and did keep the foot in the end zone. Now, here's McKay with a throw in the second period. The interception by DeCipio, and he picks it up and rambles 48 yards for the touchdown down the sidelines. The honorable mention all-area defensive safety, and those are the two scoring plays so far, and that's the way the score reads. Father Judge 7 and Frankfurt 6. As we are waiting the teams to return to the field, and we will be back with more on the City High School Championship game after this message. Back here at Vet Stadium, Joe Pellegrino along with Don Tollefson. Again, Father Judge leading 7-6 over Frankfurt at halftime. Taking a look at the statistics, Father Judge leads in first downs 8-4. Rushing yardage there you see 35-23. The passing yardage 90-36. Father Judge leading. Also in passes 6 out of 16 completed. For Frankfurt 2 out of 7. But Father Judge has had a couple of turnovers, won the big one, the 49 or 48-yard pass interception return for the touchdown by Mike DeCipio. And there you see total yards 143-59. The rushing yardage, officially it is Benson, George Benson, 7 attempts, only 4 yards picked up for a 1.7 average, and that has been certainly a defensive key in favor of Father Judge after he'd been averaging pretty close to well over 100 yards per game. Judge defensive coach, by the way, is Bruce Glathorn of DPI, the ex-roommate of Don Strock, who is quarterbacking the Miami Dolphins these days and doing quite well. We want to point out to you that our sideline camera today is being transported by equipment supplied by Rhodes Turf Equipment Company in Southampton, Pennsylvania. And our cameraman is Al Elvanian. Big Al doing another super job, and all the other cameramen want equal time, and we'll probably have to give it to them before the day is over, especially from Don Dappolo up here with us, who was about ready to hit us over the head with something. Looking more at the statistics, and we'll go down to Don Tollefson momentarily to talk with Al Angelo as the players come back onto the field. Again, the big key is Benson being shut down to about 7 yards in the first period. McKay 6 out of 16 for 90 yards. Jim DiGiovanni, 31 yards and 9 carries. Tom Little, 1 yard and 5 carries. Pete Shalinsky, 12 yards and 5 carries. McKay has picked up 5 yards in 1 carry. And also for Frankfurt, Ed Cornell has caught 2 passes for 36 yards. The running back, George Benson, again, 4 yards and 7 carries. And Dave Karpinski, 7 yards in 2 carries. But Jeff Clark, quarterback, has picked up 15 yards in 2 carries, while Dan Oldfield has picked up -2 yards in 3 carries. So you can see the running game is basically naught for Frankfurt. Now I think we are going to go down to Don Dappolo, who has Coach Al Angelo of Frankfurt with him. I'm sorry, to Don Tollefson.
With me, Coach Al Angelo of Frankfurt. Al, your guys really came on near the end of the first half. What were you doing differently on offense on the touchdown drive?
Well, we're in a bounce factor. We've changed our formation, changed our tendencies, and we're trying to out-hit them, not fool them around. Just try to out-hit them.
Your defense against the pass also seemed to improve. What happened there?
It got better. We put more pressure on the passer and played a little tougher defense.
George Benson's toe, how is it?
He's all right. George's going to run fine in the second half.
Best of luck in the second half. Thank you, Al.
Thank you very much.
All right, Don Tollefson, we're just about set for the second half kickoff. John McCarthy, number 86 of Father Judge, will kick off. The deep man is George Benson, along with Dan Oldfield and Cliff Hutchins back in the vicinity of the 5-yard line. McCarthy with a driving kick, and is going to be taken by Benson after a high hop at the 5. at the 10, straight up the middle, and he coops his way over the 25-yard line to about the 27 before being stopped in there by Dan Ullman, number 30, who makes the stop for Father Judge. So let's take a look and see what happens now after the coaches have had a chance to talk to their players in that locker room. And again, it is Father Judge leading 7-6. The offensive lineup again. Now they've got the back split, one man on the slot to the right. The handoff to the first back through over the right side of his line, following right guard Bernie Laster, and right tackle Mike Thurman is running back Dave Karpinski, who is stopped at the 27-yard line by Matt Kalp and Tony Marone, the right and middle linebackers respectively. No full house backfield as they had been doing in the first half, and there's the fake handoff to the up back. It goes to Benson, who is stacked up in the middle of the line. Benson, fighting a toe injury and a little bit hampered, is stopped right at the line of scrimmage in the vicinity of the 27-yard line as Carl Steller made the stop, also Mike Mullane. So it will be third down and a long 10 yards to go as the center, Bill Jones, over the ball. Joe Garofalo, the quarterback. Oldfield slotted, and this is Oldfield coming around on the end around. He breaks two tackles, still on his feet, gets away, and will not go down before being driven to the turf by Bob Malley. As everybody gives running back Oldfield a big hand for the second, third, and fourth effort. Now going off the field for Father Judge and holding his hand is Matt Kalp. And Kalp may have a hand or shoulder injury as he goes over to the sideline. So Kalp is out. Jeffrey Clark has come in to do the kicking, and Kalp is being attended to. Pete Chilinsky is back deep as the kick is off. No rush. It gets off a spiral, and Chilinsky calls for the fair catch at the 41-yard line, and that's where they will put it in play. First down and 10, so Frankford comes out using just a split formation and goes and leaves the full house backfield, and we'll see whether or not they continue to do it in the second half. Don Tollefson, after the long walk from up downstairs.
Gets longer every year, Joe. Whitey Sullivan really wants to score on this first drive of the second half. He says that with the injury to Lafferty, he can't play catch-up football, so they'd like to go ahead now rather than risk getting behind Frankfurt.
There is the pitch back to the deep back in the eye, Jim DiGiovanni, who moves over the 40 to about the 42. Give him a yard on that play. The stop by Fran Lepowski. Number 67, the right defensive end. Bill Jones up on that Frankfurt line along with Herb Smith and Bernie Laster. The linebackers are Bernie Mullen, Paul Malone, Mickey Bradley, and Rick Michalik. And the backfield is Cliff Hutchins, Mike DeCipio, and Jeffrey Clark. And DeCipio has certainly been a thorn in Judge's side. There's the handoff to Tom Little, and he is stopped over there on a fine tackle by Bernie Mullen, number 47. But he does pick up a couple of yards to about the 44.
Joe, the spirit down on that Frankfurt bench near the end of the first half was almost unbelievable. The players were a little downcast early as neither their offense or defense seemed to be working well. As things picked up and they scored the touchdown, spirit picked up. And now every time the opponent has a third down, Father Judge, the entire bench is up screaming third down, so the defense gives it that little extra effort.
Zielinski split to the right side. There is the pitch back to the running back to Giovanni, and he's going to be stacked up again by that very active Frankfurt defense. Shy of the 45-yard line, Bernie Laster, number 53, all-city selection, leading the charge. Mike DeCipio, another all-city selection, helping out, number 46. So it will be fourth down and about 5 yards to go. And again, John McCarthy, the punter, comes in as it has really settled into a defensive game, especially as far as Father Judge is concerned. They've really shut down this tough Frankfurt offense. There is the kick end over end, and it's going to be taken by DeCipio all the way back on the 22-yard line. It was well covered as 5 Judge players were down, as DeCipio had no blocking in front of him as they put on the rush.
Joe, it's so interesting that we have a conversion being the difference in this game right now. As I mentioned in talking with Whitey Sullivan, back in 1964, Judge beat Frankford 19-18. In that game, they won when Father Judge's Bill Kelly kicked an extra point with only 56 seconds left. One of the most famous players ever to play in the city championship was playing for Judge that year, Charlie Jarvis. He went on to star at West Point, as many of you know. He scored 2 touchdowns back in '64 when they beat Frankfurt 19-18.
Quarterback Garofalo, he sends Benson, cornerback is now Clark, Jeffrey Clark, who keeps and moves all the way up to the 32-yard line as Clark, the punter and right cornerback, plays the keeper once again. He has not handed off to a running back on every time that he has been in there. Kevin Boland made the stop the right end, and now Garofalo comes back in.
I cannot understand why Father Judge's defense can't stop that play. Every time number 44, Jeffrey Clark, comes in the lineup, he will fake a handoff and keep the ball himself. Every time he's done it, he's gained considerably. So far, in 3 carries, he has 24 yards for a healthy 8-yard average. On that play, he is just short of a first down, but the Crusaders should really be able to stop that play, since when he comes in, that's what they should be looking for.
Mike Millay, Joe Archidiacono on the line, along with Paul Kling and Kevin Boland for Father Judge.
Second down, about a yard to go.
As Garofalo brings them out, he slots Oldfield here to the right side. Benson along with Karpinski in the backfield. Long count, Oldfield goes in motion. Karpinski straight ahead, and he is racked up immediately by Tony Marone, number 51. And he gets a little help also, but basically he made the stop. The ball is at the 33, but that is good enough for the first down, and Frankford keeps the drive alive as number 16, George Golding, comes in, the right end, for Ed Cornell with a play from Angelo.
Joe, when I was down along the sidelines, George Benson is a very disappointed young man today. He came into this game with everyone saying he was the key to Frankfurt's offense. So far, Father Judge has keyed on him and stopped him. He wants to break one loose here in the second half.
Here's the pass to Benson. And Benson is over the 40 to about the 42-yard line. Matt Kalp, who was injured earlier, drills him out of bounds. Kalp apparently had a hand injury over there, but seems to be okay now. Second down and about 1.5 yards to go for Frankfurt as they try to keep some offensive continuity going. Oldfield splits out here to the far side now, and to the left side it is Darrell Miller. And off, and here's Benson straight ahead. George Benson finally makes some yardage. A big hole for Benson, the big running back, who had a huge hole over the right side. And Bernie Laster and Mike Thurman threw some great blocks on the right side of that line to spring him all the way down to the 42-yard line.
A big gain of 15 yards for George Benson. Right at the end of the first half, I walked over to him and said, "George, is your toe hurting you?" He said, "No, it isn't, and that's why I'm so angry about the way I'm playing." But he said, "I'll be back in the second half," and now on 2 consecutive plays, he has really moved the Frankfurt offense.
Miller split here to the near side, Benson to the far side. There's the handoff to Oldfield, who piles straight ahead and punches his way down to about the 40-yard line before Joe Archidiacono makes the stop, and also Tony Marone helping in, the middle linebacker. Defensive backfield is Mike Corcoran, Bob Maley, Mark Couch, and David Malinowski for Judge.
For Frankfurt on that play, tackle Mike Thurman, one of their bigger men along the front line at 195 pounds, seems to have hurt his arm. He is out of the game now. That would be a big blow because Frankfurt needs all the power up front of the line they can get. Without Thurman, they lose a lot.
Richard Drinkwater in as Garofalo goes back to pass, and he's going to be snowed under all the way back to the 48, 49-yard line by guess who? Number 74, Archidiacono, who has really been in there on a number of tackles. A little bit of help from Mullane as well. So the ball will be moved all the way back to the 47-yard line, and it will make it third down and approximately 16 to go for the first down.
And once again, Jeffrey Clark is back in the quarterback. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe this time he won't keep the ball, because I got to believe Father Judge is going to be looking for it sooner or later.
Miller is split to the left side, and here he goes again on the run, but this time nowhere. They were ready for it that time, and he had dropped on the 49, and it was Paul Kling, number 71, who made it the initial stop, and Kevin Boland, number 85, helping out. So it'll be 4th down, Don, and you called it.
Joe, I have to disagree with Al Angelo's call there. When Clark came in on a crucial play there, you knew Father Judge was finally going to be looking for it. And if I had been Coach Angelo, I think I would have had Clark put the ball in the air or at least perhaps pitch out or hand off. As it is, he will now have to punt as Frankford gives up the ball.
Mike McCann in at center now. Jeffrey Clark back. No rush at all. Gets off a relatively short kick. It's going to be taken back there. The fair catch by number 24, Bob Maley. And Father Judge will put it in play at the 24-yard line. So it'll be 1st down and 10 with 4 minutes, 58 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter. And again, Father Judge leading Frankfurt 7-6 in the city title game.
A 27-yard punt for Jeffrey Clark. We see a little reversal here at the beginning of the second half. It is Father Judge, which is not getting the good field position. They're pushed all the way back to their own 24-yard line to start.
Well, he lost some ground as far as running room is concerned.
I think that was a case of Jeffrey Clark being a little over-anxious. He was coming up from his defensive back position. He had a great shot at the runner, and he just went by him too fast and allowed him to get outside.
So the deep back, number 44, Ed Pomponio, tries the right side of his line, finds little daylight at all. However, he finds enough to make the 1st down as Fran Lepowski made the stop. So Judge, with the important 1st down to keep their drive going, moves the ball to the 36-yard line. As the running backs, DiGiovanni, Pomponio, and P.D. Shalinsky. Shalinsky now splitting to the far side. Number 34, Tom Little, is the up back of the eye, and Pomponio, faked by McKay, the long throw down the sideline, and it's and Hutchins drops the ball. Cliff Hutchins had the interception in his hands and could not hold on. Pass intended for Shalinsky, incomplete.
Pass was definitely underthrown, Joe, but the more important point there is the absence of Lafferty really does hurt the Father Judge passing game. He, earlier in the game, during the first half before his injury, was able to clear out a lot of room for the other receivers. He's no longer in there, and the coverage can pick up, and as you saw there, almost come up with an interception.
Herb Smith lowered the boom on quarterback Mike McKay, but he's right back at him. Now the lone setback is Little, who is the fullback, and he takes it straight into the line and finds very little daylight. He's going long over for Shalinsky, but it's out of bounds, and step for step with him is Mike DeCipio, and also number 47, Bernie Mullen, double coverage on Shalinsky.
Joe, I can't say enough about the way the defensive backfield for Frankfurt has adjusted, and that's the sign of a good football team. In the early going, they weren't playing the ball well. They were allowing Father Judge to make some receptions they shouldn't have made. Now they're just playing perfect defensive backfield football.
This is some kind of a football game, Don Tollefson. John McCarthy back into punt formation, and again it is Mike DeCipio, the lone safety. John Matthews is the center, and a good snap. McCarthy with a pretty good spiral. DeCipio going to take on his 34. Tries to find room, but finds very little. Dropped at about the 38-yard line before being stopped by Mike Sullivan, number 32, a reserve fullback.
While we got a moment here, Joe, I just want to mention a game going on tomorrow. Of course, the Eagles will be on the road in Denver. If you'd like to see some live football, you might head out to Northeast High School at Codman and Algon around 1:30 for the championship game in the Delaware Valley Semi-Pro Conference. That'll feature the Venango Bears, who have about 15 ex-Frankfurt players, versus the Somerton All-Stars, who have a great player in Scott Hilton, who will make it in the NFL someday.
There was a fumble on the snap. That's the first fumble that we can remember, and Garofalo, I think, fell back on the ball, so Frankfurt does maintain possession, but they lose about a yard, and the ball will be marked on the 37-yard line, second down about 11.
We mentioned a moment ago, the field position situation has changed dramatically in the second half. In the first half, Judge always seemed to have the better field position after a punt. Now it's Frankfurt in good field position at their own 37-yard line.
Oldfield in the slot as Garofalo goes to the air. There's the pass. Interception by Kalp. Linebacker Kalp with the interception, leaping high and pulling it down. and he's dropped on the 39, and once again, the complexion of this football game changes.
That is the first turnover today for Frankfurt. Top played perfect defense on that play. He stayed underneath, protected his zone, just waited for the ball. He's got the interception, and it puts Father Judge in extremely favorable field position at the Frankfurt 41.
So Kalp's interception, Kalp with a lot of credentials, all-city selection, and now a slot back to the left side at Shalinsky, and the out of the eye is a fumble, but picked up by McKay, and what a break for Father Judge as Jim DiGiovanni fumbled as Fran Lepowski really lowered the boom on him to force that fumble, but McKay was the man on the spot, and they end up losing only a yard in a situation where they might even have given up a touchdown because that ball was really bouncing around there.
Very lucky play for Father Judge, but it showed great determination on the part of the Frankfurt defense. They had a turnover by their offense to play before. They came right back in and said, hey, we're not going to let these Crusaders run over us, and they forced a fumble. Unfortunately, they did not come up with the ball.
Shalinsky split to the far side as McKay now on the rollout. Moves the ball up to about the 44 before, guess who? Bernie Laster, number 53, lowers the boom. Along with number 47 on that one, that was Bernie Mullins, the outside left linebacker. So they've been very active. Bill Jones also helping out on that play for Frankfurt. As again, these defensive units have really asserted themselves this afternoon. As the score would attest, Judge 7, Frankfurt 6, 50 seconds to go here in the third period. Here to the near side now is split end Charlie Hoyt. Double wing formation. There's the handoff to DiGiovanni. He is slowed up there by Laster, who got the hand on the shoulder pad, slowed him down, and Mullen came in to finish him off. So he'll pick up some yardage down to about the 35, 36-yard line, but it'll be fourth down and about 4 yards to go.
That is what you call perfect pursuit. Laster got a hand on the ball carrier. He himself couldn't have made the tackle, but he had a lot of help backing him up. They came right in, held Father Judge, and now the Crusaders are going to be forced to punt.
We're down to the final 6 seconds of this quarter. They are going to go on fourth down to get the play off, and now there is contact, and there may be a legal procedure as far as the right end or right tackle is concerned on the part of Father Judge. Tom McCreesh was in there with contact, and it will be a legal procedure against Judge as time runs out here in the third period. Well, let's see, the officials are holding it here. Illegal procedure against Judge. And they have now moved the ball.
A little confusion on the field, Joe. The quarter should be over. The clock shows 19 minutes.
No minutes.
Obviously the fourth quarter, but they should be reversing the ball.
Well, the official clock is down on the field. Maybe it's not over. Obviously it is not.
And now they will punt.
So McCarthy is back into punt formation on his own 45. No rush. He gets off a good high spiraling kick to Scipio. Comes up, and what a kick. Down on the 1. What a kick by McCarthy. Putting Frankfurt in a real hole all the way down on the half-yard line. An outstanding kick and a great move by Kevin Petrelli, who downed the ball as he waited for the ball to get close to the line and then dropped it. And now the period is over with the score. Father Judge 7, Frankfurt 6. We'll be back with a fourth and final quarter after this message.
Someday, Harry, I'm going to have my own business. Save for the things you want with PSFS savings certificates.
Better put a little love away. Everybody needs a penny for a rainy day. Put a little love away.
At PSFS, your savings earn more because we have certificates that pay more than ordinary banks.
Put a little love away for the things you want someday.
Comfort, yes, and confidence. This, too, is yours in Cordoba. Here is the confidence of knowing your automobile possesses a look of great dignity. With seats available in soft, Corinthian leather. All this in a moment.
Come in today and test drive the success car of the year, Cordova, at your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Start of the fourth and final period. Frankford in possession of the ball about the 1-yard line. First down.
All right, there you see it. Father Judge with the real back to the door now. They're down on about the half-foot line on that spectacular kick by McCarthy that puts them really down in the hole.
That was a 40-yard punt by McCarthy, and as I said before the game, the definite kicking edge in this contest goes to Father Judge. John McCarthy is a specialist. He's an outstanding place kicker as well as a punter. He has a 33-yard average on his punts today, which is very good for high school. He is much better in both departments than Jeffrey Clark, the kicker for Frankfurt. As a result, he has put Frankfurt in an extremely deep, difficult position.
All right, that defense will really be swarming now. Benson in motion. And that's nothing but a safety. I really can't understand that play at all, Don.
Almost unbelievable.
The running back, Jeff Clark, the quarterback, who came in, who has done nothing but roll out and run on this particular play all day long, and he's done nothing more than that. And you figured he'd do it again. He did it and was trapped 5 yards deep in the end zone. So the score now goes up to 9-6 in favor of Father Judge and changes the complexion of the game completely. There's the replay, and Bob Maley made the stop.
Joe, you have to disagree with that call. As you look on the replay there was really no way Jeff Clark could have gotten out of the end zone once he decided to keep the ball. I don't think Angelo should have made that call. That makes it 9-6 now with 11:56 remaining in the game. And I just cannot see why Angelo went with a play like that at this point in a very, very close game.
Not only that, but he's now got to punt the ball away and give Father Judge the ball once again and more possession, and they can now go to ball control tactics if they see fit. Obviously, it's very early since we have just begun the final period, 11:56 to go. But I think Angelo will consider and reconsider that play for some months to come if it ends up a loss, 9-6. Pete Chalinsky is deep along with Jim DiGiovanni, and Clark will punt it away. He has to stay behind the 20-yard line following the safety. So the tackle by Maley, and Father Judge is now ahead 9-6. And what a kick he has gotten off. Grabs him all the way back, and look at the bounce on this ball. All the way into the end zone. That's an 80-yard punt. What a kick by Jeff Clark. 80 yards from scrimmage, and the ball will be down on the 20-yard line.
I got to believe that Clark heard my comment a moment ago about how McCarthy is a superior kicker. But remember that on a safety like that, you're punting under no pressure. There's no rush. You have all the time in the world. And I got to think that Jeff Clark would be a better punter if he could get a little bit more of a psychological edge when the rush is coming. He just seems to rush it a little bit when it's an actual regular punt. As a result, those have been short. This was a beautiful kick. He obviously has the leg.
Pressure or no pressure, it still went 80 yards and probably 92 if you count where it went in the end zone. All right, the quick handoff and finding a little daylight on that play is Jim DiGiovanni, the running halfback, who picks up to about the 24-yard line. It'll be second down and 6 yards to go for Father Judge. Paul Malone, the interior linebacker, made the stop, number 59. And again, the defensive line for Frankfurt, Bernie Laster, Herb Smith, Bill Jones, and Fran Lepowski. The linebackers are Bernie Mullen, Paul Malone, Mickey Bradley, and Rick Michalik. And the safeties are Cliff Hutchins, Mike DeCipio, and Jeffrey Clark. Handoff straight ahead, and look here, Tom Little, with plenty of daylight, almost lost the ball, moves it on up to the 35-yard line. And that's going to be good enough for a Judge first down. A fine run. Jeffrey Clark, number 44, made the stop, and pats Little on the shoulder pad. As you see, a little friendly rivalry out there.
You can talk about a ball control offense, but with 11 minutes remaining in this game, I'm sure Coach Whitey Sullivan realizes he can't run out the clock, so he's just going to play a fairly conservative brand of ball, but of course try to get another 6-pointer, which would put Father Judge up by more than a touchdown and force 2 scores by Frankfurt.
All right, the handoff there and running to daylight, and plenty of room is Jim DiGiovanni, who finds himself breaking tackles one after another before being stopped by Fran Lepowski, number 67. But number 28 had a shot at him and missed. Bernie Laster apparently has hurt his knee or leg, and that would be a tremendous loss for Frankford, their big defensive and all-city left end, should he be out.
Bernie Laster is down on the ground on the Frankford sidelines. They're working on either his left ankle or lower leg. It looks pretty serious. It might just be a cramp, we hope, but he's down on the sidelines right now.
Giovanni, he is racked up there. A fine stop by DeCipio, and also making contact Jeffrey Clark, but Laster is still down on the sidelines, and they are looking at, I think, the ankle, or maybe it was the toe. No, they're looking at the ankle, I think.
Joe, Bernie Laster has played just an outstanding game. He's been in the Father Judge backfield much of the afternoon. This point in the
McKay on the rollout, he finds some room, and he has got more room than he thought he'd get. He's all the way down to about the 30-yard line. That's going to be good enough for the first down. Tom McCreesh made the stop. But already, Frankford is feeling the absence of Bernie Laster as Judge sustains this drive. Number 55 checking in for Frankford. And that would be Tony Duverbrey. Double wing formation, the back's in the eye now. McKay with a handoff to Giovanni. He finds room, breaks a couple of tackles, and is inside the 20, and good enough for another first down. Mickey Bradley, number 25, made the stop, and Judge is driving down the Frankfurt territory and threatening to put this football game away.
The absence of one man shouldn't make that much difference, but with Bernard Laster out of the game, Father Judge is running through some holes which are incredibly big. So with Bernie Laster out, the Frankfurt defense is in very tough position. Father Judge has the ball first down and 10 on the Frankfurt 20. They're driving. They lead 9-6.
Bob Summers and Joe Kamnick opened up the holes on the line that time. And there he goes again, this time behind his left guard and tackle is Giovanni, and he finds more and more room as he battles his way inside the 15-yard line down to about the 14, but they'll say that the ball is on the 15. Bob Graham, the right end, made the stop. Mike DeCipio also helping out, as Laster is again sitting on the bench and unable to get back in there at the moment.
They're trying to tape his ankle right now. He did get up, walked over to the bench, limped over, and they're trying to tape him so he can get back in the game.
Giovanni on the carry once again. He's been the pile driver on this drive as they found something in that Frankfurt defense, moved the ball down to the 10-yard line, and that's going to be good enough for another first down. Inside the 10, it'll be first and goal for Father Judge. Bob Brown made the stop. 9-6 Judge, 8 minutes, 12 seconds to go in this football game, and Frankfurt has got to put on the brakes here to stay alive.
Joe, it really looks like Father Judge is a lot fresher at this point, and that's surprising because neither team has many men going both ways, but they just seem to have a lot more energy at this point than Frankfurt.
Double wing formation, backs in the eye. There's a fumble. And four Frankfurt guys in the Scipio. He may go all the way. But the official says no. The official says no, it is not a touchdown. They have dropped flags. They called Scipio back.
Joe, this is, of course, a game being played under college rules, so the ball will be brought back to the 20 where Frankfurt will take over. It was a big break, of course. There were a lot of penalty flags upfield after the ball was picked up and the run began. Of course, it was all for naught because under college rules, the ball must come back to the point of the fumble.
Well, you're right. You cannot advance the ball like that under college rules, and so it will come back at the point. And that, as I believe, if I'm not sure, is the first fumble that has been lost today. We will try to take another look at that in just a moment here, but it is obviously a great break for Frankfurt, and it saves them from being blown out of this city championship game. And they will take over the ball apparently on the 20 as they talk with the officials. Now here's the fumble, and a great tackle on that play by Bernie Mullen, number 47. DeCipio was the man on the spot, scooped it up, and looked like he was going almost 75 yards for a touchdown. but it was not to be. The officials moved the ball up. There was also a flag on the play, apparently a clip, and it's up to the 35.
There was a personal foul against Judge after the fumble recovery. Mike McKay, the quarterback for Judge, should not feel bad because that fumble was forced. I don't think there was any way he could have avoided it. Just a great play by the Franklin Pioneer defense.
All right, Karpinski and now Benson is back in the football game with a taped left leg. A handoff to Benson. He tries to bust a tackle. He does bust a couple and moves the ball up to the 41-yard line. Matt Kaup made the stop. So Frankfurt has got to do it now with 7:37. They have got to sustain a drive and get down to that end zone and at least come away with a field goal, or they may not really get another good opportunity.
Clock is running, Joe. 7:25 remaining in the game. Frankfurt 60 yards away from a touchdown.
Tight formation slotted here on this side is Benson with Oldfield and Karpinski in the backfield. Garofalo, and now Benson goes in motion. Handoff straight ahead to Karpinski. Make that Oldfield, and he gets over to the 41-yard line. He picks up maybe a half yard, and now Laster has just come back in. Mike Corcoran, the left quarterback, made the stop. Good news for Frankfurt as Laster comes back in. He goes both ways, offense and defense.
No one was fooled by George Benson going in motion. Frankfurt rarely pitches out to the man in motion. As a result, the Father Judge Crusaders still plugged up the middle and stopped Frankfurt very well.
Well, Angelo said he would go to a lot of different formations. He now has the double wing with the one setback. The pop pass over the middle, almost an interception. That play worked for a long gainer early in the game to Ed Cornell, the right end. He had the ball momentarily, but it popped off the shoulder pads. So it's going to be 4th down, a very important play, and just a matter of inches, Don, as these kids will probably replay these plays in their minds for many years to come. You know, why didn't I catch that ball at that particular time? Clark goes back in punt formation.
I have to feel so sorry for Ed Cornell because that pass really is tough to catch. It's thrown with a lot of velocity. It's done so quickly. He's got to feel terrible right now.
Clark, a big rush, almost blocked, but he gets it away, and there's a fair catch signal for at the 34-yard line by number 24, Bob Maley. So Father Judge will take over and try to maintain ball control, and now it's up to the Frankfurt defense to stop them once again.
Mr. Clark did very, very well to get that punt off under a lot of pressure. He's been playing an awful lot today, both on offense and defense. We'll be right back with more of the city championship game after this.
Coloring is great fun for kids. Making your own pictures to color or paint is even more fun. Now it's easy with K-Tel's new Easy Tracer. Your children can trace almost any picture, map, or diagram in the same size, smaller size, or larger size. Simply place marker in arm 1, tracing pointer in arm 3. Then follow the outline of the original picture. Presto, a picture in the same size, ready to color. You can reduce the original by simply switching the marker to arm 2. To make a drawing larger than the original, switch the marker to arm 3. You don't have to be an artist to make your own pictures. With Easy Tracer, it's easy, educational, and hours of fun for the entire family. Easy Tracer, complete with tracing pencil, drawing paper, attachments, and simple instructions, $2.99 from K-Tel. Makes a great gift.
K-Tel Easy Tracer, available at Woolworth, Woolco, McCrory, McClellan Green, Newberry, Solinger, Harnett, Eckerd Drug, Corvette's Toy Department, King's, Green Drug, Quaker Drug, Brooks Discount.
Back here at Vet Stadium, Joe Pellegrino along with Don Tollefson as the tension continues to build. 6:26 to go in this football game. Father Judge holding on to a 9-6 lead over Frankfurt for the city title championship. And stopped in the backfield is Jim DiGiovanni. That defense roused. They know they've got to do it now. Number 52 making the stop. Herb Smith, the left tackle on DiGiovanni. And that's about a 2-yard loss, 2nd and 12.
Great play by Herb Smith, but I got to believe that the re-addition of Bernie Laster into that Frankfurt defense has really upped the spirit of this Frankfurt Pioneer defense.
Ed Pomponio is now in there at running back, slotted rather in the deep position. That's Shalitsky, who finds a lot of room and moves over the 40 to about the 42 and charges up to within 3 yards of the first down. Mike DeCipio trips him up. The all-city free safety also. The cornerback in there was Jeffrey Clark making the stop. Bernie Mullen also helping out. So it is now third down for Father Judge. 5:31 to go in this football game, and Judge trying to get the first down and maintain ball control. The defense desperately trying to get it back. Jim DiGiovanni back in. Chilinsky splits here to the near side. As McKay, the quarterback, calls signals. That line is up there, and they stop DiGiovanni short of the first down at about the 43-yard line. So that'll force fourth down, and Sullivan probably will decide to kick it away. Fran Lepowski made the stop.
A great play by the Frankfurt defense. They gave him an 8-man front. That took care of the blocking and allowed the backs to come up and stop Father Judge short of the first down. They will now punt. 4:52 remaining in a game which has Father Judge up 9-6, so plenty of time for Frankfurt to come back.
John McCarthy will go back in punt formation. They're taking plenty of time. McCarthy will be back on his 30. Frankfurt has done a little rushing on the kicks. DeCipio, the lone safety, back on his 21. And if anybody ever wanted to break one now, it's DeCipio. But boy, McCarthy gets off a high, booming kick, driving DeCipio back to the 12. He called for the fair catch, and that's what it is, as they covered the kick well. 5 men around DeCipio.
That was a 46-yard kick, an outstanding kick for John McCarthy. Joe, I can't understand why in that situation Angelo didn't put on the big rush, but instead opted for a run back, because McCarthy's been kicking the ball well all day, wanted to just send everybody flying in there after him.
Well, I guess we can second guess a little bit up here, but now Frankfurt has the task of driving themselves 89 yards for a touchdown. They are on their own 11. 4 minutes and 26 seconds to go. Otherwise, their football season is over, and their undefeated string of 12 going down the drain. The back split behind Garofalo. Going to the air, and the pass is almost intercepted and picked up by lineman Lassiter. It was deflected, and now Matt Kalp throws one of the linemen around, and he comes out of it with a sprained ankle. So I don't know, but the pass is incomplete. Paul Kling batted it down. So it'll be second down and still 10 to go.
Joe, Mike Thurman was the Frankfurt player who Mr. Kalp threw to the ground a little rudely, but he's okay. Right there was a perfect example of what defensive coaches always say. Come in with your hands up, and a lot of times you're going to force that passer to have the ball batted right back in his face.
Woody Hayes always said that 3 things can happen when you throw a pass, and 2 of them are bad. There's the handoff. Benson battling hard to find some room, and he just cannot do it. He was stopped in there initially by number 65, Steve Dano, and also Matt Kalp came in to finish him off. So it will now be third down and a long 8 yards to go as number 48 comes in with a play. That is Ed Cornell, the right end. And Angelo has got to pull out some kind of a miracle right now as the ball is on the 13-yard line. Third down for Frankfurt. They trail 9-6, 3:13 to go in this football game. Coming in motion is Oldfield. Garofalo back. He's got plenty of time. Gets it off. Pass is completed up here to the 36-yard line. And that's number 48, Ed Cornell, who made a great catch in front of the Frankfurt bench. Good for a first down at the 3-minute mark.
Ed Cornell just redeemed himself for that jump pass which he dropped earlier. An absolutely great catch. He was in a lot of traffic. He had to wait for the ball. He made the jump right at the perfect time, and it's complete. First down, Frankfurt.
All right. Frankfurt desperate to get down to that end zone. Garofalo going to the air, and he's going to be snowed under, I think. No, he gets the pass off, and it's incomplete. He may have saved a long loss. He got the pass off, incomplete. Kevin Bolin, the right end, low bridged him, and Joe Archidiakono helped out as well, Don.
Joe, on that play there, we saw an example of what a defensive lineman really shouldn't do when he has a shot at the quarterback. He tried to just smother him. He went too high and allowed him to slip out from underneath. He should go for those legs, because without the legs, quarterback is not going to stay on his feet.
All right, we've just received word that the outstanding players of the game will receive the Inquirer Awards are Pete Chilinsky on offensive judge. The defensive player is Mike DeCipio of Frankfurt. 2 very well-deserved awards. This is Benson breaking away. Oh, almost went the final way before the trip on that play. That would have been a touchdown that was saved by number 24, Bob Maley. Bob Maley saved the touchdown and possibly saved the title for Father Judge. Benson almost broke it.
19 yards for George Benson, 2:17 remaining in the game. A perfect example of how the counter play is supposed to work. You get the flow of the play going in the other direction, send the back like Benson on that way. Unbelievable 19-yard game.
Oldfield slotted to the right side as Garofalo is trying to break away and is going to be snowed under by the defensive line. Kevin Boland leading the charge. Everybody else was in also. As Paul Kling, number 71, Tony Marone, Matt Kalf, and Archie Diokino as well.
Al Angelo desperately signaling for a timeout from the sidelines. He wants to talk to his offense here with 1:47 remaining. The Frankfurt Pioneers trailing 9-6.
We'd like to thank some people while we have an opportunity here. The Interleague Athletic Commission, the Catholic League, the Reverend Richard Skelly, the chairman, the Reverend Albert Kostelnik, Francis Doherty, and also Joseph McNichol. The Interleague Athletic Commission, the public schools, James Woodside, Vince Presto, Felix Cataldo, Irving Brody, and also Albert Chancellor. Of course, the Eagles staff, Mr. Leonard Toes, Jim Murray, Bill Mullen, Matt Lucas, as well as Chick McElroy.
Joe, as long as we're passing out plaudits, let's thank all those people up here in the booth who make our job so much easier. Statistician Howard Eskin, spotter Bill Friel, floor manager Stephen Sachs. Everything under the very, very capable direction of Bob Terra and an absolutely great crew of cameramen and other assistants.
Hear ye, and ole. These fellas have been doing a great job for us. And we have got now 1:47 to go. Frankfurt is back on the 50-yard line at midfield. Split to the right side is Oldfield. Second down, 17 to go. Garofalo with a pass. Intercepted. And that just might do it. The interception by Matt Kalf. His second of the day. Johnny on the spot. And the Judge side just is going crazy with only 1:40 to go in this football game.
Matt Kalf with just a great interception, just like his first one. He has perfect position for that interception. I just cannot believe how well he plays on pass coverage as a linebacker.
All right, here's the replay again, and there's Kalf. The pass intended for Miller. And there's also an injury on the field.
Daryl Miller was shaken up on that play. He's being helped off the field. I can't stress enough how well that interception was timed. And earlier in the game, we talked about how the Frankfurt defensive backs were not playing the ball well. Well, on that interception, as you saw, Mr. Kalf played the ball perfectly. He waited for it, he kept his eye on the ball, and ended up with an interception that probably seals the victory for the Father Judge Crusaders.
That's the 24th interception of the season for the Father Judge defensive secondary. And with 1:40 to go, they will just try to sit on it and get out of here with a 9-6 victory as the handoff goes to Giovanni. And a very frustrated Frankfurt defense trying desperately to get the ball back. Bernie Laster in there to make the stop. Laster playing on an injured leg.
Giovanni has gained 84 yards and 21 carries. He's done an absolutely workhorse job for the Crusaders today. A man who was injured much of the year with an ankle injury, which is still bothering him, but today he has just held this Father Judge offense together.
Petey Shalensky, of course, the outstanding offensive player who will get the Inquirer Award at the end of the game. And now we've got some contact. Whether or not they were drawn off, we don't know. The defensive player, of course, Frankfurt's Mike DeCipio, and of course both of the award-winning players are the touchdown makers today.
I can't say enough about the spirit of both these teams. A lot of these players are playing what will be their last games, and some of them will not be playing in college. And Frankfurt, despite a very tough situation here with just 1:01 to go, those guys down there are still working extremely hard. And boy, Joe, you have to feel so sorry for Al Angelo, one of the truly outstanding men in high school football in the Delaware Valley, who has tried so many times and yet can never come away from this game a winner.
11 years as head coach. He had an 89-26-4 record coming in here, and he just the fifth time now that he has been in the title game, and at least at this moment does not appear that he will have it. Now the right tackle went off on that one. That was Bob Summers. And apparently the ball will be moved back as we have more illegal procedure on the part of Father Judge.
Bob Summers wins an award there for the most flagrant penalty of the day. He probably got off about 6 seconds before the snap was intended, and I got to believe he just thought he'd have a little fun down near the end.
Al Angelo, the 11-year coach at Frankfurt, who succeeded the legendary Odie Surik, whose team 12-0 going into the game. And, of course, let's not forget Whitey Sullivan, who has done an incredibly great job for this Father Judge football team, as they are 12-1 and have just really put it all together in an extremely tough competitive league this year in the Catholic League.
The last time Father Judge and Frankfurt teed it up here in the city championship game, Whitey Sullivan was a senior at Villanova. Today he will leave the stadium as a very happy and a very proud coach of a fine football team.
32 seconds to go. There is the handoff to DiGiovanni. Holds on as they go for the tackle. That was number 47, who tried desperately, Bernie Mullen, to force the fumble, but Zelensky, or rather DiGiovanni, held on. And 20 seconds to go. Herb Smith made the final stop on the play. It is now 3rd down and 1 yard to go. And obviously Frankfurt in a very desperate position.
Joe, when you look back and analyze the second half of this game, I think one of the most important things to remember is that there was not a pass thrown by the Father Judge quarterback, McKay. They kept it on the ground and were successful doing so.
Let's take time out on the field with a score, 9-6 Judge. We'll be back in a moment. Okay, the final 20 seconds of this, the 38th Annual City High School Championship game. Father Judge with the ball, leading 9-6. Full house backfield, just trying to hold on to run out the clock. Handoff to DiGiovanni, and he is stopped short of the first down at about the 48-yard line. Bill Jones made the stop as they stopped the clock with 16 seconds to go.
Once again, Frankfurt taking time out. I mentioned earlier Mike McKay has not thrown a pass in the second half. That is an absolutely great testimony to the job which this offensive line of Father Judge has done here in the second half. You always have to pick a most valuable offensive and defensive player, but I think that entire offensive line of Father Judge has to be commended for a great performance here in the final half of the game.
Well, Don, we're talking about Terry O'Neill, John Parsons, Ray Lorenz, Bob Summers, Joe Kamnick, of course the ends, Tom Kearns and Charlie Hoyt. They've just done a super job. But that both offensive and defensive units of Frankfurt have done a great job, too. I mean, you just have to sit back and marvel the way all the players on the field today have played. Nobody has to hang the head in shame at all. They're both winners as far as I'm concerned. It's just too bad that they both can't take the title away. 16 seconds to go, 4th down and 1. Father Judge, 16 seconds away from the title. Chalitsky in motion, the handoff. And stopped in the backfield is DiGiovanni, and ripping the ball away was Mullen. The clock is now stopped with 10 seconds to go. We'll be back with a conclusion of the City High School Championship game in a moment. All right, possibly the final play of the game, and Frankfurt pulling out all stops, now moved in an excellent athlete in Mike DeCipio on offense, and he is on the right side over there. Tight formation, one setback, 10 seconds to go. This may be Frankfurt's last try. Benson, they're going to give it to him to try to go up the middle. He picks up a few yards, up to about the 45-yard line. 2-1. The clock sounds the gun. That's it. Father Judge, the 1975 city title champion, by a score of 9-6 over Hard Luck Frankfurt High School. Don? All right. Once again, the final score, 9-6, a 26-yard pass. McKay to Pete Chalitsky in the first period. Then Mike DeCipio, a 46-yard pass interception, made it 7-6, and a safety by quarterback Clark in the end zone, tackled by Maley, and that was all the scoring. There you see the end. Once again, the final score, 9-6. We'd like to thank everybody, and once again, Joe Pellegrino for Don Tollefson, wishing you all good day. With the final again, Father Judge 9 and Frankfurt 6.
The Interleague Football Championship game between Father Judge and Frankfurt with Joe Pellegrino and Don Tollefson has been presented in part by PSFS, the Savers Bank. PSFS pays more on savings than ordinary banks. And by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer, now featuring the success car of the year, Cordova, the new small Chrysler. This has been a Channel 6 Sports exclusive. Executive producer, Charles Bradley. Produced and directed by Bob Terrell. Remote supervisor, Walt Ballou.